Well, hello and welcome to this edition of Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington. And on this edition of Under the Umbrella, we are actually going to have a little bit of fun. As many of you may know, we cover a wide range of topics on this particular podcast. And today we are joined by Jeff Stevens, who is a radio host, as many of you know, from Mix 107.7. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Melissa. Thank you for having me on. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is exciting. As I was talking to Jeff before this, and he was saying how we're merging this show, talking about weather and talking about music. So this is going to be a fun one. Just so that folks know before we get started here, obviously you talk about music from the 80s and 90s, so we're limiting our genre here.
Yeah.
And we're also going to limit the weather type as well. We're going to be talking more about wind, rain, and snow, and we'll probably do another show with heat and summer because I feel like that could be another
a whole other show.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly right.
Exactly. So, of course, folks listen to you every single day, but maybe they don't know much about you. Can you tell us a little bit like how you got started being a radio disc jockey?
Yeah. How much time do you have? No.
We have 24 minutes, but we'll never get to nothing else. So give me the Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes. Yes. I was the kid in middle school that listened to the radio every night while I was doing my homework or supposed to be doing my homework. And I just got really interested that way. And I actually started my own high school radio station at Tippecanoe High School. We called it WTHS and actually played the music at lunchtime and stuff. And then I went to Bowling Green State University to study radio, TV, and film. I got into the TV part of it, and they said, you've got a face for radio, so you should probably stay with radio. So oldest joke in the book. But yeah, I was always really, I liked TV, but I was always very fascinated. I was such a music guy. So, I've sung in a band for 30 years. So I've just kind of always been about and around the music. And radio has just been a huge blessing. I've done the morning show here in Dayton now on Mix 107.7 for 21 years, actually, with Christy Lee and Dave Alexander. So yeah. We're still around kicking it.
Did you have to move around to other markets before coming back here?
No, it's one of the more unique stories because so often with TV and radio, kind of bounce around a little bit. Mm-hmm. But much like Jamie Jurosic and Brian Davis and folks, I'm a hometown guy. I grew up in Tip City. And have been able to have my whole career here. I do have some syndicated programming that airs across the country, so it's been really great that iHeart has allowed me to grow in my career from Dayton without ever having to move. So I've been here my whole life.
You're lucky. Like you said, you are very lucky.
Yeah, and I know that every day. It's like I know that that's not the normal story, and I feel very thankful for that.
Yeah, and video did not kill the radio star.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, because I was worried about that for a while.
Well, there was a time back then when they thought, just kind of like how the internet came out, and they thought like, oh, it's going to kill TV and all these other things.
Yeah.
But radio's still going strong.
So is TV, and we love that. Yes, thank goodness for both of us.
Exactly. So you guys typically focus on 80s and 90s music. That is my generation of music as well. And do you guys ever go on the fringes as well? Like, do you ever dip into the 70s or into the early 2000s, or do you stick to pretty much?
Pretty much the slogan we've been using the last several years is the 80s to now. So we'll play, obviously Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran and Sabrina Carpenter, stuff that's out now. So we do cover the majority of it lands in the 80s and 90s, but we do a good amount of 2000s and today songs as well. We don't dip too much into the 70s anymore. I like some of that stuff personally, but we don't cover it these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to when you're not at work?
That's a great question. Not to be cliche, but I am a 80s guy through and through and through and through. And even though we play it a lot on the radio, that's my music of preference. It's funny. I like classic country that my mom and dad used to listen to, like the Oak Ridge Boys and the Gatlin Brothers and Kenny Rogers,
Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline.
Yes. I used to have a little fake acoustic guitar and stand on the picnic table and sing Johnny Cash songs when I was like 3 or 4.
Oh gosh.
And the neighbors would stand around and watch and be like, not sure if this guy will ever be a singer or not, but so Johnny Cash, yeah. So and then somewhere around the early 80s is when a friend of mine got me into Billy Joel and Hall & Oates and stuff like that, and then that's when I really that's when the switch went off. So
Yeah,
It's a
wow.
great time.
A lot of
And
good
it's
stuff.
and it's still, the 80s are so timeless. There's not another decade that has stayed relevant way past what it should have been, because I loved 80s music, but if I looked back 30 years, I didn't listen to a lot of 50s music in the 80s.
Right.
But now you've got 20, 30, and 40 somethings that love the 80s music, even though it's way beyond what they really should like.
Right. Well, you had given me a list of like songs that that fall into this genre that we're following today, and it kind of reminds me of the one by Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
Yeah.
That song, I mean, you hear it at every arena.
Everyone.
It's constantly being
Yes.
played, and so like, thank you, Matt. Matt put on the video here
Good
for
job,
us.
Matt.
But I mean, when I saw this list and I saw this one come out, I knew immediately what that was. And
Yeah.
like, so my kids, they know what this song is. You take kids to any type of event, they're gonna know what this is, and this is one of the most upbeat in the type of songs that we're following today.
Yes. Yeah. I remember I worked with I did the announcing for the Dragons the first several seasons. They used Thunderstruck as the Dragons, and they kind of changed it to Dragons instead of Thunder.
Right.
And that they did it for a long time. It's just such a great anthem. But you don't necessarily think of thunder in a storm
Right.
with this song necessarily. But there's a new one, a more recent one by Imagine Dragons
Yes.
called Thunder.
Yes.
And that one even mentions lightning. It's lightning and
Yes.
the thunder in the lyrics. So
Yeah, and that one, I was reading back on that. I was talking about it's actually a powerful journey of success in that one. It was saying something along the lines of like, well, if people are naysayers towards you, like you're not supposed to give up, because once the lightning strikes the thunder, then you're going to do well and you're going to, bloom, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting, and what a great concept on that, taking the weather and doing that.
Yeah, it really is. The Imagine Dragons write some very, very heady songs that like lyrically, you got to dig in a little deeper on some of those.
Yeah.
And then you have something like, It's Raining Men by the Weather Girls. Not the deepest song you've ever heard before,
No,
so.
but it is so catchy.
Yes.
And it is kind of, when you look at the video now, like for me looking back on this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like definitely the early days of video making, like
Totally.
the early MTV days, when that was kind of coming out. But
Yeah.
I think this is just like a really fun song. And of course, I'm going to like it just because it's all about weather.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the few that the song and the group is about weather.
Exactly.
It's Raining Men
Right.
by the Weather Girls. It's like, well, this one is perfect for our Matt's all over the production here.
Yes, he
It's
is.
perfect for our segment here. So it's Raining Men by the Weather Girls. So that's pretty funny.
Was that just like a one-hit wonder for them? Do you know?
Yeah, they didn't really have a whole lot other than that, and I think the budget on the video was about $500. So maybe.
When I pulled this up just to kind of refresh my memory on it, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At the time, you're like, yeah, this is great.
This is
Now you
great.
look back and you're like, ooh, some have stood the test of time better than others. So
Yes, and this one is definitely on that list there.
it shows its age.
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What about The Rain by Orange Juice Jones? That one set out in 1986.
Yeah, 1986. I was at college when that one was out, and that is all about a guy, as you see there sitting in his car, seeing his girl with another man.
Yeah.
And he saw him walking in the rain. And that song actually gets pretty funny when at the end, he gets cold busted, as he says. It's lyrically pretty funny. And at the same time, it's kind of a gotcha for, somebody spending time with somebody who they shouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah. But it's all based around the rain. So.
Yeah. A lot of these songs are based on the rain, because the one thing I found really interesting is when you take out Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And so many of those songs are cold and the snow and stuff, but there aren't as many songs out there that talk about the winter cold stuff. It's more about rain and gloomy days, and but it's not all gloom and doom either. Like everything's depressing. Some of these songs, like Thunderstruck, they actually flip it around and they say it's like renewal and
Yes.
going on into the new year and stuff. So they kind of do different things with it. And I thought one that was really interesting was I Wish It Would Rain Down by Phil Collins, because they did a whole movie on that one. Basically, it's like an 8-minute video.
Yes.
And instead of
Yes.
it being so teary-eyed, they actually turned it into like he's an actor and he's coming out, again, going on
Yeah.
that positive spin of cleansing and
Yep.
renewal.
Yeah. And that is one, I'm pretty sure Eric Clapton is playing the guitar. Eric and Phil, good friends.
Yeah.
Eric plays on that song. Some incredible guitar. But yeah, that is that's a really powerful song. And that's right at the end of the 80s. That one actually, I think, tipped a little bit into 1990. But
Yeah, that sounds right.
that's a good, strong song for the end of the decade. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And what about, let's pick another song here that you gave me. Let's see. It's Raining Again by Supertramp.
oh yeah, that was out in 1982. And
Look at you. You know these just like that. Wow. This is
yeah,
great.
my coworkers affectionately call me a freak, actually. So I take that very nicely. But yeah, again, a real cheesy video. You got the old, diner situation. But it's this one. If you really listen to the lyrics, it's raining again. Talking about his heart on the mend and different things like that. So it's I guess kind of a metaphor for he's having some bad luck or he's got a bad relationship or whatever. So, oh no, it's raining again. So
Yeah, and in the video even, I watched it all the way to the end because I was not familiar with this song. I didn't
Okay.
know this one. But I watched it, and it's like at the end, though, they actually flipped it around, and he got with the girl again and stuff. So it was interesting. Again, going back on that renewal idea, I think,
Yes.
of, it's kind of interesting to see what the artists do with these songs.
yeah, well, and a lot of times, as you'll hear from artists, the artists were like, somebody would get a hold of our song and do this goofy concept video. And then years later, they look back and go, "We can't stand to watch that. We hate how it turned out.
Yeah.
That's not really what the song was about."
Right.
So sometimes the directors kind of took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Jeff Stevens from Mix 107.7 right here on Under the Umbrella. We'll be right back. Well, hello and welcome back to Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington, and today on Under the Umbrella, we are joined again by Mix 107.7 host Jeff Stevens. Hello again.
Hello, Melissa. Thanks for having me back.
Yes.
I made it to the second segment. Yeah. All right.
I'm glad that you did. We got another 12 minutes to go.
All right.
So I want to ask you, over time, you've said you've been doing this for 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
How has reporting the weather changed over time, especially like when it's like bad weather days and when, did you have to used to read off school closings
Oh,
or
yeah.
how has this
Yeah.
changed over time?
Well, so I've been doing the morning show for 21 years. I've been doing radio for
Longer
for
than
much
that.
longer. We won't get into that right now. I
Okay.
wish we had time, but yeah. So when I first got started in radio, we would literally somebody was in the other room like scribbling down the delays or cancellations, and they would bring them into the studio, and we would read them live. And it would end up. It would take 15, like on a morning like today, where we're happen to be talking. That we could have 15 minutes of school delays
Yeah.
to read through them. And so somebody in one of my first jobs, I was doing the morning show on this tiny little radio station, and somebody was scribbling stuff down. They were running stuff into me. And so I've got to read this person's handwriting in addition to keeping my brain straight on what's going on. And I said, and we have a 2-hour delay for Rice for Christ. And I was like, and I kind of look around like, what is Rice for Christ? And they're like, oh, and kind of just told me to stop and go on. It was Voice for Christ, but the way they wrote it was like, it also looked like an R. So I'm like, great. So you guys are scribbling stuff off. I'm embarrassing myself on the radio talking about places called Rice for Christ. It was like, no, it was actually Voice. And so back then, I mean, it would take forever to do those. Now we say, go to WDTN and take a look. And that's the truth. That's what we say.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't have to do any of those?
No,
or-
we don't do it anymore. We'll talk. We do a lot about traffic. We'll spend a lot of time on traffic, which, obviously affects a lot of people. People are
Right.
listening in their cars. So we do a ton of traffic, and we'll talk about the weather, but we won't do the delays anymore. We literally point them to Channel 2.
Well, and not only that, but like a lot of parents now, they just get it on their phone and they get a text, and so they know without even turning on the TV anymore.
Yes.
So-
yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot, especially with schools and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good about that. So, yeah.
So like when the weather's bad, like we've seen a couple snowstorms this year so far, this winter season, do you guys play certain songs that like people request certain songs because of the weather,
Yeah.
whether it's raining or winter or snow? Do people, do you adjust your show at all? Or
Yes, the first snow of the season, I pull out Michael Bublé's "Let It Snow." It's and that was kind of early in November this year, so
Yeah, it
people
was.
were not ready. They're like, "Wait a minute, what is going on here? You're not playing Christmas music." I'm like, "Come on, it's a 2-minute song about the snow," and that's all it was. So yeah, we'll adjust a little bit, and by absolutely, if we have a couple days where it's raining like crazy, I'll play some of the rain songs. "It's Raining Again" that we just saw. "Here Comes the Rain Again" by the Eurythmics. "It's Raining Men." I'll definitely break those out to match what people are seeing outside.
And do they request those songs, or is it just something that you just kind of put on your playlist?
I usually just put it in, but there's definitely times where people will be like, "Okay, 5 days in a row of rain. You got to play some rain songs. You play "Blame It on the Rain" by Milli Vanilli." I'm like, "Okay, all right." We're trying to wish it away at that point. So.
Oh yeah, well, do you ever think about doing the opposite song of like what the weather is? Like if it's raining out and then maybe like
Yes.
do like a sun song instead, or something that thinking warm. It's cold outside, so we're going to do a warm song instead.
It's so you're very much on this, Melissa, because there was a stretch, I don't know, back in the fall or something, several rainy days in a row, and I played "Walking on Sunshine" by Katrina and the Waves. I'm like, we got to get this out of our brain. I thought,
there we go, we got it right here.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? Look at
Yeah,
that,
look at
"Walking
that.
on Sunshine."
Yes.
And just there's no way you can hear that song and not just have a smile on your face.
Right.
And it's funny because the video is kind of gloomy. It's
It
kind of
is.
shot during a rainy, cold time is what it looks like.
Well, maybe that's the thought process, is when it's gloomy like that, you want to think about walking on sunshine. I know like sometimes I'll put on like a brighter color or something like that if the weather's really bad outside, because I'm like, no.
It's a very, very good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I got
okay.
some lights on the stage now. It's a little bit brighter.
Well, it's amazing still when you look back at a lot of these videos from the 80s and the 90s, especially the 80s. So it's like they're just rocking out like this, or they have these goofy productions, or they're like over the top big productions. Like
Yes.
When you pull up like Purple Rain from Prince.
Yeah.
That one, I was kind of surprised. I pulled that up and it's like, it's just him singing.
It really is. He was one of those artists who absolutely hated concept videos. He would rather have had, and he said this on many occasions, just show me performing, show me in my band. There's purple lighting. He's wearing purple. You're not seeing some goofy rain scene or whatever. He was very much about his art and his music, not about goofy videos. But he knew he had to have videos because to match what everybody else was doing.
Right.
So most of the Prince videos you see, at least his biggest ones, were conceptual, or not conceptual. They were performance. Except a few of the ones from Purple Rain, they did use clips from the movie. So
Yeah, this one led on to a movie, but it was interesting. He's got again the good and the bad there, and that's how he gets the color purple, is with the joy and the and the sorrow, kind of mixing it together. And so Purple Rain.
Yeah, I could listen to Prince. I could listen to Purple Rain, whether it's sunny or whether it's raining outside. That's one of my faves.
One of your favorites?
Yep.
Okay. What about "Blame It on the Rain"? We mentioned this one before about Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. Of course, here you have a group that was wildly successful, that was not even real.
I think I went to their concert, honestly.
Did you?
I swear, I was thinking about this and I'm like, I am pretty sure that is like, if not the first concert I went to with my girlfriend, I think it was in Chicago.
They were not around very long
No, they
because
weren't.
once they were outed as being basically just lip syncers, that they got their Grammy taken back and all that kind of stuff. But if it was 88, 89, or 90, then that's when they had their heyday. But then once their Grammy got pulled, they were done.
Yeah, but still their music lives on. I mean, it was still good music.
Well, and that's the thing.
That's the sad thing about it.
Well, and they did. I mean, almost every one of their songs was number one.
Yeah.
I mean, Baby Don't Forget My Number, Blame It on the Rain, 2 or 3 other ones that were like ended up being number one songs. And so at the end of the day, you just listen back and go, I just like the song.
Yes.
I don't care if it was them or not. I don't care if their Grammy was taken away. And inevitably, if it's raining, we get a lot of the Blame It on the Rain, requests or references. So
I'm sure you do.
that one's pretty iconic.
Yeah. And then the other one that you mentioned, Here Comes the Rain Again by the Eurythmics.
Yeah.
I was reading that one was written when it was on a cloudy day and they turned around and they said, blame it on I think Here Comes the Rain Again. And that ended up being the title of the song.
Wow. And to me, that's one of my, and it's really kind of dark and mysterious. That's you look at that conceptually, the video there. that is my favorite Eurythmics song. I know Sweet Dreams Are Made of This is their biggest hit. But this one to me is done so well. And a couple other artists have covered this one actually too. Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates has done a version of this. There's some other people who have done some versions that are just fantastic. But to me, this is excellent songwriting. And really, I think people can kind of see that there's some other stuff. They had a lot of conceptual videos. They didn't do a lot of performance things. So you're kind of wondering, there's something going on there. That's Annie Lennox and her partner Dave Stewart. They were always, you always kind of wondered what was going on with, not between the two of them, but just deeper into the lyrics.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I totally knew what this song was. So like when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. This
there's
is
certain
one
songs that stick in your head.
And there's certain songs that stand the test of time too.
Yes.
Some of these you don't ever hear. You don't hear It's Raining Men by the Weather Girls very often.
No.
This one you still hear all over the place.
Yes.
So this one is still very popular.
Well, this other one I think is pretty popular too. The Winds of Change.
But Scorpions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, I was reading on that one. That one's got quite the history on that one, just because they said it came up just before the Berlin Wall got taken down. And I was like, oh, and there's so much in their video here of showing all this history and stuff going over time. And so interesting, like how they used wind, obviously, to cause change and stuff. And really interesting how it was done.
Well, yeah, you had the Tear Down the Wall, at the end of the 80s. This song was from the beginning of the 90s, you know, a year or so later. And I think anytime you're changing a decade, it's amazing how it's not like the artist all of a sudden become different, but truly the beginning of the decade usually signals a change in the music as well. And that wind of change brought in a whole bunch of change, not only in our world, but also music changed dramatically shortly after this with grunge and the 90s just didn't sound anything like the 80s. So, and they were part of that wind of change. But but when you look at the Berlin Wall and all the political, resolve that came from that, it was a very powerful time for that song.
Cold War ended as well. It was all right there, and it's all kind of wrapped up in this song. So really interesting. And I know our director, he pulled up one to November Rain by Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yes. Also early 90s. Not too long after Wind of Change was November Rain. And this one I will absolutely, every November, as soon as we get a cold November rainy day, I play this one on the radio I have an 80s show I do at lunch called the Time Warp Cafe. So I do the morning show, take a couple hours off, and I come back and do the show at noon. And this is one every November I'll definitely play this. I played it a couple weeks ago when it was raining, and people are like, "Oh, I love when you play November Rain when it's raining outside." It's like, okay, it's kind of a layup. That one's pretty easy. So
what about A Long December by the Counting Crows?
Counting Crows, that was kind of a mid '90s, very very melancholy. Every time that was a big hit, but I remember being on the radio playing it at the time, and everybody's like, it's so depressing.
When are you done with it?
Yes, and depressing. And at the end, he's like, doing it at the end. And December can go very long sometimes, so long and cold. And that's powerful. My daughter, real quick, reminded me there's a song by Hunter Hayes from the last probably 5 or 10 years called Storm Warning. And I thought, all right, well, that's one you guys could wrap into your weather promos there. Yeah,
well, I'm surprised how much even Taylor Swift wraps in weather into hers too. I mean, her new song with Opalite, it's all about weather in there. It's talking about all kinds of stuff. So it's really interesting. Yeah,
weather's it's a topic we all talk about.
It affects everybody every single day.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for joining me. This was a great time. We'll have you back again.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you for joining us on Under the Umbrella. Until next time, have a great night.